Sounds, what's that? Feel too close.
Alright with you?
As long as you don't start stroking my arms, I'm alright. That's pretty good. But anyway, thanks for coming down, John. What's this, number 15 times I've interviewed you?
About that.
I think...
it's like an annual thing now, isn't it?
It is an annual thing. I think we're going for some kind of record. Because I was looking back at the companion that we did about you and Tyne, you fought in...
Aye, Harris Hawk.
Harris Hawk. I'm going to get all of these things wrong because I'm a bit tired today, so I apologise.
You've told me all these things about John before, haven't you? I feel really excited about this.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. And I know you're on the other side of the pond now, aren't we? So... And you had to come past the... did you come past the stadium?
Aye, we drove past the stadium. Aye.
Yeah. Did you get any vibes when you drove past the stadium or not?
I wouldn't say it was a vibe. It was more like an ick sort of thing, you know. Me two sons.
St. James's Park, aren't you? Yeah.
No. that's like there's a halo around that. That's lovely. But I've got my two kids with us. Them have went shopping, but one of them's all kitted out. Looks like Newcastle United just spewed up on him. So
really?
He's come down with all his gear on just to wind people up.
Yeah.
I often confess this, right? I don't often confess this, actually. So I'm from this side of the... I'm from Hebburn.
Yeah.
Grew up a Sunderland fan. But I've lived in Newcastle. I was in Forden for nearly 15 years, right? So got me a season ticket for Sunderland when he was about 6 years old. Brought him here for about 3 years. And he was like Uber fan, you know, like had all the kit on, Sunderland hat, Sunderland scarf, like tracksuits and that. And he'd walk to school. He used to go to the middle school and it's like a 3-tier thing in Newcastle. Oh, so first school, middle, high school. Up until the end of middle school, he'd still walk to school, right? You know, through an estate that's got Newcastle United crests on the wheelie bins and that, and wearing his Sunderland jacket. And 1 year, and I'm like the shame of my family, right? They'll go, you went, Dad, I need to ask you something. Can you get us a Newcastle shirt for Christmas? Honestly, mate, I must have thought about it for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Oh, it's
I got him,
isn't it?
I got him, mate. I thought I'm going to be the ultimate dad and I get him the top. He wore it for about a year. And the best thing in the world happened is that he stopped liking football and he started liking rugby instead. I was like, do you know what it is? That's it. It's such a convenient accident.
Aye.
Like, I don't need to worry about it anymore. The mixed loyalty thing. It's great.
We've got on my wife's side, there's Mackems in the family, so that's always interesting. But what a funeral that day. One of my mates, and everybody had to wear black and white. So all of her side of the family, the Mackem side, had to turn up in black and white tops. Yeah. I definitely, our cousin wasn't too happy with it. Like, but he had to do it.
What's that like, having two different sides in one family? Because that's a massive thing, though.
There's not many of them.
Some people don't even come to Sunderland because they're supporting Newcastle. Are you on that side or not?
No,
you're not that bad.
No, I mean, our cousin got married a couple of weeks back in Sunderland. It was a place called the Ropery, just right on the river. It was a lovely day. It was a nice day. We had my mate's son. He was like doing the music there, and I think he ended up playing Local Hero and stuff like that just to wind everybody up. But it was all taken just in good banter. It's not like a big massive, like die-hard rivalry.
It's much better now than it used to be. Like,
aye. Well, because I'm saying your Facebook, it's like there's a proper kind of following there from football. Oh, and there's a lot of football going. It's rooted in like who you are and where you're from.
If I'm not at work, we're watching football or talking about football. Like my kids are at football and stuff. That's always been that's just what we've always done around ours, just football. Yeah. I've just went to Weird Way and went into Falconer and Bushcraft a little bit as well.
Quite a nice sidestep, that.
Sidestep, I know. I mean, because I know we've kind of, I've done a lot of films with you before, John. We've kind of been through your whole life story, but maybe just want to delve into how you got started in falconry, because I know the story, but I want you to just chat a bit about that. How you got into it?
The falconry side of it, I think it's always been there, because like my granddad, I remember when I was a kid, he had aviaries in the back garden full of budgies and finches, and we've always had birds in the house, like just budgies, canaries and stuff. I mean, my mum's got a photograph of us sitting in a high chair with a nappy on and a budgie sitting next to us. So I've always been around birds. I got big but I've grown up outside as well. I'm one of these, I cannot sit in the house.
Yeah.
I'm pacing the floors. So when we're kids, we're dead lucky where we live, because it's like semi-rural. You walk to the end of the street, you're in Northumberland. You walk across the road, you've got the woods there, sort of thing. And so you just grow up in the woods. So then you just sort of tune in to the animals, and the birds are on. Like, I can spot deers. I'll tell you where this fox has been running. And it was watching the kestrels and the sparrowhawks.
Is that just from like day one, as far as your memory goes back?
As far as I remember, I can definitely remember going out to France. I think it was about 12. I was in the middle school. And my French teacher didn't like us at all. Like, she really didn't, because I was a daydreamer. I wasn't interested in sitting in school learning French, and I think it offended her that I didn't like it, because it's her profession, it's her thing. So when I look back now, I can get why she didn't like us. But we went to Paris, and we just messed around. Me and my mates just messed around in Paris. So we weren't bothered about the sights. It was like a little school holiday for her. But when we're coming back, there was a kestrel right on where we come around the roundabout, and right where I was sitting, a kestrel caught a mouse, like right in front of us. And I thought, that's class, that's brilliant. And I think that's what got us hooked. And I remember her, when we got back, she absolutely hammered us, because everybody was writing like about the sights that they had seen and all the experiences in Paris. And I wrote about the kestrel. And I thought, this is going to be good, because this is the first bit of work I've actually done for this teacher.
Something you're passionate about as well.
She hammered us for it.
Really?
Why? Because it wasn't anything to do with France. It was a scruffy little bird.
So rather than take the opportunity just to see that you are really
he's
into
actually
something.
He's done a little bit of work, yeah. We've might have tapped into something, but she absolutely hammered us.
Encourage what you want to do. Because that's what you do now. You would encourage somebody.
You would, if you find like a teenager or a young kid that's got like a little niche, like a little spark, gone with it, feed it. You've got it.
Yeah.
If you start putting that out, that's when you're just killing dreams there, aren't you, basically?
Well, you're just trying to sort of shoehorn the system around an individual. Basically.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you've done the same as well with kids, because you can just delve into like the educational stuff that you're doing. Is that too much, Alice? Hang on, let's stop.
Do you know what it is? It's because it's the time that we're filming. It's all like deliveries. We'll probably still stop in the next 20 minutes or so.
It sounds like he's half a rope last week.
It does like that. When came down the floor, I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
That's all right. I mean, that's the whole point of the podcast, right? It's good.
Hey, last week was seamless in terms of noise, wasn't it? Was it? Pretty much. Made noise or anything.
We've brought you in and kind of a stoppage already. Stoppage? Hang on. 90 minutes left.
We should do stoppage time, shouldn't we?
We should do stoppage time. I think that's quite a good thing. We should do, yeah. Yeah, I want to talk about what you're doing or what you have done education-wise with kids, because this sounds like, because of how you were raised as well, that you can kind of bring what your experience of that, and you probably got more patience with the kids, the lads that you teach.
I mean, I know when we were kids, we weren't like toe rags, but we always used to get up to like little bits of mischief and stuff like that. Got in trouble a few times with the police, and like nothing serious, just like teenage stuff.
Yeah.
And I got into education. It was just a total fluke. I mean, I didn't stick in at school. I didn't go into college or uni or anything like that. And I sort of fell into a job working in a mainstream school. And I'm not sure if it was because of me accent and the way I talk, sort of thing. But I just sort of started getting put with the lads and the lasses that were getting into loads of trouble in school.
Yeah.
I think like a lot of them did say it was because the way you've got the Geordie accent. If you go into schools, a lot of they come from. This was like a mainstream school right in the middle of the city centre.
What, in Newcastle?
It was Kenton School.
Oh, was it? Right, okay.
Kenton School.
Yeah. My mother-in-law used to work there as well. Yeah. In fact, she was head of French.
What's she called?
Oh, come on.
Can I name people?
I don't know, you can't.
Granny, I'm sorry. Cynthia Coravessis.
Cynthia Coravessis.
Do you know Cynthia?
So please tell us this wasn't the teacher.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, my
So, yeah.
God.
Oh, I say mother-in-law. We're not married, but me and Helen have been together nearly 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I used to get put into a class and all, and I kind of to support this one lad. And she was dead stern. She used to scare us. Like she used to scare us. I was thinking. And then I remember one day, like, she'd give this kid wrong, and he was working. He said, and she'd turn around, she'd give me this little smile, as if they're going, "I've got him right where I want him." Yeah. I thought, no, you are. And then since then, I've got along. Like, I was just like she had a game face on when she was in the school, but a game face.
Totally.
I never told her, but she scared me. Like, which was lovely.
Honestly, I've been told this story a million times. I used to go to Blockbuster Video, right? Yeah. And they go, "Yeah, is that lady there? Is that Miss Coravessis?" And I used to go, "Yeah, it is, yeah." I go out with her daughter, and she's, "No, we used to call her Miss Coravicious."
Oh, that was it, Coravicious.
Because she's soft, she's a complete softie.
She was. Do you know, when, like, there was times when I spoke to her away from the classroom, and she was lovely, dead nice, but when she went in, it was like, you had to learn.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter what your name is. Kids are going to find something to call you.
I'll tell you what, though, in the themes of our podcast, she makes a cracking cheese pie. Like,
does she?
Oh, honestly, yeah, a Greek type of cheese pie, like spanakopita, feta cheese.
What's a spanakopita? Do you know what a spanakopita is?
Puff pastry, feta cheese, spinach.
Okay. Yeah. I know what you mean.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Every year, whether we need them or not, you'll get about 6 trays full. Yeah, should have brought some along, shouldn't I?
I know. I was going to say
next week.
No, definitely. But so we're talking about the kids in education. You're taking them out. Obviously, they clearly know from your accent, John.
Aye,
you're a nice working class lad with the accent. You're going to get on with these kids. Was it one of those things?
It was. We just clicked. I got along dead well with them.
Aye. It's how you approach people though as well, isn't it? How you talk to people.
I got it. I got that to sitting in school and they're learning algebra. Some of them kind of do basic maths.
Yeah.
And they're getting told, you've got to do algebra, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. And they were sitting going, what's the point? Like, and I thought, I get it. I get that side of where you're coming from. I get the teacher's side, I get the school side, because you've got certain targets to hit, but I also got the kids' side. So it did get into little bits of spats with teachers, because I would take the kids' side a bit too much sometimes. So I didn't think I was very popular with some of the teachers, to be fair.
But you were with the kids, though.
Aye.
Yeah.
And I think that's what school's there for. You've got to, I think sometimes you've got to look after them.
You do. And even if you're out on a limb and the people that you're working with aren't as supportive of you, the fact that the kids kind of think there's one person in the school that's got me back.
Aye, that's
like, honestly, you'd take that to your grave, wouldn't you? As you get older.
But you can, I mean, we all remember like the one teacher.
You do, though. You do remember the one that got us.
It wasn't many, was it, John? I mean,
no. I work with some great teachers. I work with some, I would say, the inspiring teachers, and I'm still in contact with them now. But like, school's hard for teachers as well. Like, you've got Ofsted, you've got to hit targets for Ofsted, and if you don't, you get hammered. Yeah. So the teachers are under a lot of pressure. So I did get that side where you need to get into that lesson, mate, and buck up. You know, like, the teacher has actually got your back. They've got targets to hit themselves.
Does that hold you back, though, John, or what you want to kind of teach them and talk to them about?
Aye, big style. I found it did.
It's a complete block on kind of what you can do.
That's because it's the teachers are trying to push that across, then sometimes there's a barrier there. The lads didn't want to engage with them straight away. As soon as you've got like the lanyard on and a shirt and tie, there's a brick wall put up, sort of thing. So I think I was there for about 10 or 11 years. And then I just started, I used to love going in. I absolutely loved it. Didn't like the school holidays. I was like, I want to be back in with the kids and stuff. And we used to take them to like St James's Park to work at St James's, sit in the stands and sit and do work. And I was like, best job in the world, this, to be honest. Yeah. But then I started getting a little bit frustrated, because I was seeing a lot of the lads that I was working for slipping through the net. It was me and yours lads. There was plenty of lasses there as well, but the ones I got were mainly lads, and were slipping through the net. They were getting expelled from school for silly little things. It was like a build up of silly things. But then you knew that they had that potential to kind of, you know what, he's gonna do well. Yeah. And I think the final straw for me was they had it was like an alumni wall or something it's called. It was a wall as soon as you walked into the building. It had kids as
the best achievements. That stuff,
every one of them that went to uni. And I remember talking to one of the
still
senior.
got that now, John, as well. Some of the schools, and that, like I can't stand it because it just sort of polarizes.
As soon as you were walking in,
meant to be. This is what you should be.
As soon as you walk in the morning, you hit with you're a bit of a failure here because you're not going to university. I was saying, well, even if you put it somewhere else, but like, I said, I didn't like it. No, I can't, but it's a great achievement. I went, it is like them that are on that wall that deserve to be there. I'm not taking nothing away from them, but like, what about the lad who's been brought up in the care system?
Yeah.
And now he's got himself a job, he's got a wife and kids, and he's holding down a good job. Is that not an achievement when you look at the background that he's come from, sort of thing?
Well, I always remember, when I first sat down with a teacher, I've got 2 kids, but when my first son started school, I've got a son and a daughter, I remember having a standard conversation with the teachers. What would you like to get out of this experience, and what do you want? And I just said, it's not really about academic achievement for me. I said, if they walk out of this school well-rounded people, good-natured, decent people, moral compass, and they believe in themselves, I couldn't care less what they do. I don't know whether that's a postman, or it's a bin man, or it's a dinner lady, or whatever they end up doing in their lives, or go to university. It doesn't really matter to me. It's all relative. Yeah, just to whatever they want.
That's what I was like. I totally get the academic side of it and the targets, and this is what we've got to hit. But then there's the other side as well, where you're looking in. There's I'm trying to think of a word for it, like I don't like spiritual growth or something like that. Where you're leaving school, you've got good morals, you've got a good work ethic, and you want to get out there and you want to work and support your wife and kids. And that's what I was saying. That's sometimes that if you look at some of the backgrounds that these are coming from, to hit that. It's a massive achievement for them.
But it's also like the fundamentals to society, though, isn't it? It's like all you want.
I mean, practical skill sets and how to manage your money and how to kind of function in the real world as well.
That's it.
And obviously, so how did you kind of move on from that as well, John? Because you, from being in education to taking some of these lads and lasses out and educating them through Falconer, I just think it's a fascinating thing. But how did that come about, right?
Well, I'd started doing the falconry. It's just it was a hobby that had turned into a bit of a sideline at work. It was a sort of Saturday job.
Do you remember how the hobby started though?
It started from watching the Kestrel.
Really? Honestly?
And it just all went from that. And I knew that I could train a budgie in the house to fly down my finger. But as soon as if I opened that door, that budgie was out and I'm not getting it back. And it was the fact of I could take a bird of prey out and fly it, and it comes back. And I think a lot of it that I got was the trust.
Yeah,
like that bird's got to trust you to fly back to you. So I started getting into it through that, and then it just sort of snowballed into a bigger job, and it just kept getting bigger. And at the time, me head of department, he knew that I was getting sick. I'd spoken to him about it. He helped us write the business plan for Riverside. Like the educational side, I was taking it in saying, Mark, will you pick away at that? Will you have a look? And so I think he sort of turned a blind eye every now and then. If I was sitting at me computer knocking up business plans, he just sort of looked and he knew which way I had to go.
Yeah.
So he's like the sort of person you were at the kids at school.
Yeah.
So he sort of gave us the freedom. He gave us a chance because then I had a small office, where I am now, and every Friday if the lads and the lasses hit the targets, then we'll get them on the minibus, take them down to my place, and we'll spend the Friday afternoon in the woods. And I was seeing a completely different side of them. There'll be lasses there with fake nails on, fake eyebrows, gutting fish. And they would sit and eat the fish. So that's when I started thinking, wanting something here. And then once I just got sick, I'd say, you know what, the falconry, it's becoming, it's getting to a point now where I can get a living from it. It was my wife who went, you're not happy at school, take the plunge. And if it doesn't work, we'll find a way around it. So I just went in, put my notice on the table and told them exactly what I thought. And it went from that, and then I just started getting contracts with I just started sending emails out to different schools.
Oh, so you approached them as well? You approached the schools to kind of get the kids down there?
How long ago was this, Sean? What did you say?
10 year. It would be 9 year ago. When I'm into my 10th year now, and it was 9 year before I got one of the schools on, and we've just getting another school signed.
Would that have been pre kind of forest school stuff then?
Aye. Mm-hmm.
Before forest school became a thing?
Only really just come around the last couple of years. It hasn't been. So it just sort of went from that. It was like, right, which way did I learn when I was best? Like when I felt at my best, and I was in the woods. So now what it is we'll get the lads and the lasses in, and then in the morning we're training the birds. So if we've got taste out, we'll fly them with a GPS transmitter on. That links up to my phone, and it'll show you the distances, the heights, and the speeds that they're flying. So they've got to log all that. They've got to work it out, put it into training diaries. The bird only flies when it's on a weight management plan. Birds of prey don't fly if they're not hungry. They'll just sit in a tree.
Really?
It's a bit like us. Wait, if you look at every predator's a lazy animal. If we have a big Sunday dinner, what does our body tell them to do? It's to have a sleep.
Take a lion under a tree, and you know what I mean?
People are paying thousands to go and see lions on safari. If you spot them, they're gonna be asleep. Your dog will sleep a lot. My dog's asleep now. He'll be lying asleep now. It's the predator's metabolism saying save your energy to hunt. So we've got to say it to the lads, right?
Just blew my mind that.
What do you want to? Who we're going to fly this week? And they'll pick the birds that they want to fly. Right now, that's her flying weight. 2 pounds 2 ounces is her flying weight. But if we keep giving her this amount of food, how much is that food weigh? How much is she taking on before she sits up in a tree? So they're working it out. They're doing the maths in their head, but they don't realise they're doing the maths.
But it's via practical method, though. That's the thing. And what I loved when I came out to photograph you, kind of just out and about in the forest, that the kid is one of the lads is wearing his best trainers, and they were muddy as hell, up to the clots, right, up to the eyeballs. This kid. But he wouldn't wear the wellies because he wanted to still wear his trainers to still be cool.
I've got loads of wellies there and they never wear them.
They never wear them.
No. They're sitting there freezing cold, they've been in the water.
Just put the hood up.
I guess the knack is, though, I bet you don't push them to do it. If they've said no a couple of times, you're just like, you learn from experience. But got cold feet.
Yeah. One of the things I really took away from that time that I spent with you as well, John, was the fact that you said if one of the kids' attitude's bad, one of the bird will sense it and they just won't fly to them. So that sort of keeps them intact.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Like
I've got no idea. How do you get a bird to trust you?
Yeah.
It's just spending time with it, and it's called the manning process. So if I get a new bird, I've got to spend a lot of time just getting it to sit on my glove. And then you're walking with it on your glove. It takes a long time to get it to do it.
Patience, that, John,
patience,
How did
the lads got
the first step? Like, I couldn't even imagine what the first step is to make that happen.
Well, you've got a few scars on your hands.
I've got plenty of scars on my hands. I'd rather have these scars on paper cut sitting in a classroom and all that much. But, I think that clicks in with some of the placements that I get as well. They've never had the trust. They've never had to use patience. Where in this one, they know for a fact that bird's not coming back to them unless there's a little bit of trust there. So they've got to get the bird trusting them and eating off the glove, sitting on the glove, and then it's flying.
I think the fact is it's because it's an animal. It takes you out of that way. They're not having an adult talking to them, telling them what to do. Yeah, they have to go, well, I want this bird to come to me because it's a challenge, isn't it? Right?
That's it.
And I think that's it.
Well, it's a bit tangible as well, isn't it? And there's a bit of jeopardy. Like they want that, they must want that bird to trust them.
But they do. They've never had that trust. Whether that's at school or maybe sometimes even at home in the community, that don't get that trust. But that bird and me, I always say, like, listen, this bird's worth a lot of money. I'm trusting you. If that bird flies off and it gets stuck up a tree or it's in somebody's garden, that's my reputation. So I'm trusting you with a lot. Once my business goes, I've lost everything. If you want to mess around.
But when you think about just how massive that lesson is, though, like, it might sound simple, but when you think of maybe a kid that struggles with discipline or they don't respect people at school or whatever it is, that lesson is in that one small activity, isn't it? That you've got to put the time in, and you've got to respect the bird. You've got to make the bird to be comfortable to come back to you. It tells you everything about life, doesn't it? That's very respect for them and how the relationship's going forward.
Because I was looking at it from from outside of coming in and seeing what you're doing. you know, and I'm telling everybody, I'm like, it's kind of, you're doing like 5 different lessons bundled into one, but isn't that not life? You a bit of history, bit of geography, know what you're doing, bit of common sense, also a little bit of maths, a little bit of English. Do you know what I mean? You've got everything in one.
Without them knowing that it's a lesson.
But also a practical skill, and then you're changing your attitude as well and your kind of mindset. You've got so much going on there.
But you can see it working. Like, I mean, some of the parents, I like to get in touch with the parents as well. So them can say, they'll send us a message in the morning, going, listen, he's had a bad night. He's not in the best of moods today. Right, that's absolutely fine. We're not going to do the birds today because it might frustrate him a little bit. We're just going to head out. We're going to have a campfire. We're going to cook some hot dogs or have hot chocolate, get them back down onto that level, and then we'll do the birds later on. And the parents can see it working. You get loads of good feedback from the parents, and some of them aren't care, so the carers are always giving good feedback. So it's definitely working for these types of learners. Outdoor, hands-on, and I think it's definitely the environment as well. I think one of the things that works for them as well is if they do step out lane, I can't tell them. I've sort of got the luxury that teachers haven't, where your teacher can't tell you exactly what I can get them wrong. And they know for a fact when I have to tell them they've crossed the line, because it's not very often that I do have to tell them, but if they're getting dangerous, I explain it to them. Like, sometimes we're around a campfire, we're working with a golden eagle. If he gets a hold of you, he's going to get a hold of you. If you're messing around, golden eagle's going to mess you up. But it's going to hurt you, but it's going to absolutely wreck my business. Because if you're dangerous, you're messing about, you burn yourself on the fire. That's my insurance. That's a big claim on the insurance. I might lose my contract with the schools. Once the contract with the school's gone, that's my business is gone. So because you want to mess about, you're disrespecting me as well. And that works because they're sitting going, it's like, if he hasn't got the business, he can't feed his kids. He can't pay the bills. I put it across that way because that's the reality of it.
That's the responsibility that they bear, though, isn't it? I mean, that's
how much trust I'm putting in you, that I'm like, when I'm letting you fly one of these birds, or sometimes, like, a lot of the time we're sitting to whittling projects, just it settles them. But I'm giving you the sharp knife. If you're going to mess about with that knife, I'm trusting you, and I'm putting a lot of trust in you. I want it back. And
you're always teetering on the edge of the skill set, and there's a little bit of kind of trust and danger in there as well. But as long as you do what I'm asking you to do, then it'll tick your box as well as tick my box, and then we can continue to do this.
It works both ways.
So did the food thing come from that as well, John? Sorry.
The cooking stuff outside.
Because it just sounds like it did. As I saw your bushcraft thing, I'm like, hang on, he's doing like meals in the forest. What's going on? Right? Do you know what I mean? Did it come from the kid stuff?
Well, because I've always done the bushcraft with them, and because a lot of them haven't got the concentration to do like 4 hours, just birds, constant birds. They need to mix it up a little bit. Then every year now we're getting hit by a thing called avian flu. And I'll get a letter from the vets or the council and say, right, there's been a case of avian flu, you need to lock your birds away. So I can't get them out. So then I was like, right.
So you kind of, you can't train them, you can't fly individually.
If one of them catches avian flu, and it seems like every year it seems to be getting bigger.
Really?
If one of my birds catches it, I've pretty much got to get them all destroyed. Where they're not just business asset sort of thing. So it was like, right, way how we're going to entertain these lads. So it's something that I've just getting into. It's that I've been reading up on. I'm not like I think it's Japan. If people are feeling down or depressed or stressed or anxiety, the doctors will actually prescribe a thing called forest bear bathing. It's like it's a sort of remedy to get out in the trees. It's apparently, I'm not sure because I'm just learning about it. The trees give off some sort of chemical, and it just relaxes you. So I was like, right, we're just gonna go and sit out. We just put a hammock up in the woods, get a campfire going, and just sitting out for the day. And they wouldn't make a sound. They just sit there around the fire, and that's another one, fire gazing. They just sit and stare at the fire.
And just the sound as well. And like,
we've got the stream there and everything, and it chilled them right out.
Everyone loves a fire, but also I think it's a similar thing to the sea. Why we stand and just look at the ocean, kind of waves coming in and out.
From what I was reading, and one of my mates, he's massive into it. He's really big into it, and it's from when we're going back to when we're cavemen. Like you sort of go back to your cave and sit and stare at the fire and like evaluate the day. Like I've just nearly been eaten by that. It's inward. So whenever you see a fire, you just can't help but stare at it.
It's like a meditation thing, isn't it? Yeah.
So it just got into that. And then it was like, so we'll make different stoves. I just started looking in. We've always done it because we're growing up outside. And in the woods where we are, there's still rope on the trees where we had things called tarzas. You can still see the wood in the trees where we made tree camps and stuff like that when we were kids. So it was just sort of going back into the stuff that I used to do when I was a kid.
Did you hunt as well when you were a kid then?
We used to get out and we did used to hunt. Gone back there, no, it was poaching because the farmers would never give up permission on the lands. But that side of it, the hunting side of it, that's sort of always been in the family as well.
See, that's always fascinated me. I've always wanted to be involved in that. It's just not
my mum's side of the family. There's a few of them and they're still out to shooting all the time. They've always been out. I remember my uncle, Ali, I had some ferrets one day and he's old. Like he's old now, but he come knocking on the door. He went, "You got any spare ferrets?" I went, "Aye, what for?" And he went, when I'm taking the dog out," he says, "I just want to find myself a nice set or nice burrow, whatever, and just put the ferret down, just sit and do a bit ferreting." I was like, "Your age, are you sure you are?" He said, "I'll be fine." I went, "Do you want us to get you some nets?" Get us some nets. What about a hutch? "You got a spare hutch for us?" I went, "Right, so you want the full whack?" And
full setup.
And then I says, "What about the trackers?" Because you put little trackers on them so you can tell where they're on the ground. You went, "Oh, I'm old school." He said, "I haven't used technology." He said, "I'm just going to sit there." And when he left, I carried this ferret hutch around the corner for him. And I left and I thought, "That's class." Like at his age, he's still wanting to get out and want to date. So we've always had that in with. I remember like we used to go out shooting with my Uncle Peter and stuff like that, jump in the back of the car and just go out for pheasants and rabbits and stuff. So we've always done it. And as kids, we're just constantly out there looking. Like we never caught nothing. We never ever caught anything. But
pursuit, wasn't it, John?
Aye, that's what it was, and we weren't bothered.
It's an adventure, and you don't know what the end goal's going to be.
That's exactly what it was. It was like little adventures. We're just out in the middle of nowhere.
It's interesting, though, isn't it? Because, like, for me, like growing up in the city, really, or a suburb, Eben, in the 80s, it was close enough to us to know about it. So you always knew somebody that went ferreting or catching rabbits. And you'd always get someone from the allotment would come down with a bag of leeks and go, "I've got a couple of rabbits as well if you want to take them off us." But it was too far away for us to feel it. Like I always wanted to get involved in shooting. But it just was, I was probably like 3 miles away, too far out for it to feel close enough, you know what I mean?
I do get that. I get a lot of people coming in, and when we're talking about the birds, I'm always talking about the hunting side of it because it's just what birds of prey. If you're going to have a bird of prey in captivity, keep its nature as natural as possible, or its behaviour as natural as possible. That is to hunt. And I've had some brilliant experiences when I always start off, right, are you vegetarian or vegan? Because if I'm flying the bird, I've got to put little bits of meat on your glove. And it's sort of like, it's always taste that does it as well. If somebody says I'm vegan and I'm hardcore, it's like she's gone game on. And you're guaranteed she's going to catch something right in front of them.
Just bad.
So I totally get why people don't want to see that side of it, but it's just, with me, it's always been there.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of my mates, their dads. Now, one of the blokes that we're going out ferreting with, Jimmy, he's my mate's dad. I'll not say how old he is because he'll probably watch us at some point, but he's like an old school poacher. And it's great going out with him and other lads. Steve, I was going out with him with the birds, and you can read everything that you want in the books about hunting, but you need to get out there one of the old school, and that's when you pick up all the little tricks and all the little...
Well, they haven't read any books, have they?
No,
they've not read any books. No. But it all gets handed down, though, doesn't it, through experience. You've got to spend time in that field to know what to do.
Aye, I mean, we've took some of our lads out hunting before, with the hawks. They want to see it because they're training the birds from start to finish. They want to see the end product. Yeah. So it's normally just a quick phone call to the parents, let the school know, right, we're just going to head over and we're just going to put the ferrets down this set. Some of them like it, some of them don't. They're just like, right, I've seen it, I don't want to see it again. That's absolutely fine. But other ones are like, can can we get out and do it again?
Yeah.
And it's not a bloodlust. It's the seeing that the training of that hawk, and then we've took that bird from there to the final product.
Yeah.
They're not bothered if they're not catching it. It's the chase sort of that they want to see. They want to see the bird's natural behaviour.
Yeah. Ever since I spent time with you, John, every time I'm spotting all the time, I'm like, that's a kite. That's a kestrel. I'm doing all this. I'm like, I don't know, is it a buzzard? I'm like, I'm always, because I've messaged you before. I'm like, I saw the best thing. It was just, there was a hawk just sitting at the top of a tree. It was like, it was a winter's day. Just that lovely crisp morning, and I just saw a silhouette of a hawk right at the top of this branch with no leaves on, and it was just sitting like Batman, just upright.
But they're really iconic sights, though. I mean, because when you mentioned that with a kestrel, it actually unlocked the memory for me, because I remember growing up and seeing kestrels outside.
I
just
work
out
with
my
them
window.
Because I was hovering side of the road.
Yeah, hovering, just hovering over the
time. I work with them every day now for... I mean, this come back. I've had birds of prey for years now, and I still, if I see a little kestrel hovering, I'm still stopping to watch it. Even the other week, I had a little kestrel handed in, and it was just starving. It just needed something to eat. Just needed something to eat. And then, do you know that field where we videoed the companion and had the old oak tree?
Yeah.
I let it go on there, but it was that young. I had to hand feed it. Mm-hmm. And then I started training it on the lure. I started giving it food on the lure, but I couldn't keep it because it was a wild bird. Like, you're not allowed to keep them. So I knew that I had to release it. And I released it on that field, and it's still there. It's still flying around on that field.
That's his new home kind of thing.
Aye. I knew there wasn't one there because of territory. I knew it didn't have a kestrel there.
If they've got a field or a certain spot, they tend to stick to that.
Aye.
It's like cutting it just sticks to this kind of one area.
But like the bar where we drink, that's just next to that field. So I was walking down with two of my mates, and there he was just hovering away. And I was like, no, come now, look at this. I've released that. Even them two sat for you, just going, that's pretty cool, that. Like,
yeah.
I still get excited when I see them.
One thing I've only ever seen, like, 2 owls in the wild. I was
the spot.
I was driving there. I was like kind of, it was morning time. So 5 o'clock in the morning, really dark. And the headlights, I saw this, it looked white, but it was probably a barn owl because it was quite small, right in front of the van. So the headlights just lit this thing up. And I'm like, I even said to myself, owl. Do you know what I mean? I was by myself in the van. I'm like, owl.
Kestrel, blackbird, just one word.
It's just, because you never see them, that's all, John. I'm like, it's like a woodpecker. I've heard one. I've never seen it. I'm like, I need to see these things. You know? I've never seen one.
We've got stacks of them in the Dean now. There's loads of parakeets and all. They're a nightmare. Parakeets flying around there now.
I always see parakeets. There was like a phase of time you see them in Newcastle city centre and that.
We've got them flying around at 7 o'clock every morning.
I've seen that.
I would have thought of parakeets like a summertime.
No, I'm talking about like 20 of them just sitting there.
Really?
I'll try and point them out. I'll try and point them out here, but they're a bit of a pest, like.
Are they?
But the best ones I've got, people keep saying I've seen a golden eagle. I was flying along and I've seen a golden eagle. I'm like, you probably haven't, you know, it's probably going to be a buzzard.
I saw one in Canada. That was about it, but it was like rocky. But when you say a golden eagle, you're like, aye, because it's absolutely huge.
Golden eagle.
When I had this woman rang us up once, and she went, "Have you lost your eagle?"
Have you lost your eagle?
I was like, I'm just sitting. I'm sitting with him now, and she went, "Well, I've had a golden eagle in my garden," and I went, "In your garden?" And she went, I says, "Are you sure?" And I says, "Are you sure it wasn't a sparrowhawk?" She went, "No, my husband knows his birds. He said it was a golden eagle." I went, "Right." I says, "Because there's not many who've got them in the country." I says, "I'll have a look around, see if anybody's missing one." And then I rang her back. I went, "Listen, anybody's missing one." I says, "It probably was just a sparrowhawk." "No, my husband knows his birds." And she started having a go at us. And I was like, "I know, but I sort of do as well, you know." And I says, "Did it have leather on its legs?" She went, "Well, I don't know because I couldn't see its legs because it was eating a wood pigeon." I went, "Listen, it's definitely a sparrowhawk in your back garden." I says, "If it was a golden eagle, it's your dog that it's eating, basically. It's not going to bother with a pigeon." And she just kept ranting at us. And I'm thinking, I'm going to have to put the phone down on her here. Yeah. And I says, right, because she was that adamant. I says, "Where are you?" I says, "Where do you live?" Thinking maybe she's in like southern Scotland or on the border somewhere and one might have passed over or something. And she went, "I'm in West, I hope." I was like, "No, that just went, it's a sparrowhawk," and put the phone down on her. But she was just like ranting us down the phone.
Yeah. And she called you.
She was the one that rang me.
That's mad.
Totally. Adamant.
Yeah. Some people are nuts. But no, when they say, I've seen a golden eagle sitting on the side of the road, I'm sort of like, that's fair enough, because I didn't want to burst the bubble and kind of was a buzzard, mate.
Well, you cannot, man. It's just that you don't get in an argument. It's like asking an expert going, "No, I think I'm right." Do you know what I mean?
I was just driving on the A69. There was a golden eagle sat there on the side of the road. And they get called tourist eagles in any way because they're all big, but you like me, it was a buzzard. No, it was a golden eagle. All right, I was a golden eagle. No problem.
Aye. But that's the thing, they probably never seen one before. They see one on the telly, you know?
No, it's when you see one, you know you've seen one.
Aye. So,
did you grow up knowing anybody, by the way, right? This is quite a cruel thing to admit to, but it is a memory. So going in about the 80s, do you ever have a friend that collected eggs? It was a thing.
Right. Yes.
It was.
Do you remember that? It was a thing. People would collect birds' eggs.
We used
nesting or whatever you call it.
My brother used to. We had you know, like
with some tissue in it.
I tell you what we had. I mean, obviously it's illegal, isn't it? No, is that right, John? But back in the day, in the 80s, that's, you know, it's what you would do. You go and find like old bottles and stuff like that from like all like bombed like hospitals and stuff like that, because we lived at Seven Sisters and the hospital used to be there, and you could dig up like these tiny little old medicine bottles. So we used to collect all of them, and then eggs, because I remember my brother had like, you know, you got a Nike Air box for your trainers, so he used to put it out with cotton wool, and then but he used to put them in all nicely done,
label them,
like
used to blow the hole in the top,
and collect the eggs.
It's it's illegal now, and I'm against it now.
I'd be against it now as well.
Back then, that's what we did.
But there's no education. You didn't know. It's just what you did, wasn't it?
I mean, it was a hobby, wasn't it? For lots and lots of people.
Me and my cousins used to, and I mean, we never got anything other than like blackbirds' eggs or wood pigeons' eggs. It was never like any sort of high-profile birds. It was just your garden birds that you would see. But there's sometimes I'll be out with people and they're going, "How did you spot that?" And I never admit to it, sort of thing, but I can tell that's a blackbird's nest or that's a wood pigeon's nest.
Do you remember the wonder if, like, when you were a kid and you peeked into a nest and you saw a couple of eggs, you were like,
I did it in there.
Unbelievable.
Because it was, I think it was just, I don't know what birds they are. They were little orange beak, little brown ones. What's them? Just like a nice everyday kind of...
Blackbirds.
Blackbirds.
A female blackbird.
Yeah. So, because it was like light and they used to fly in the bush in the garden. I was like, I'm definitely thinking there's something there. So I had the kid, I opened it up and there was 6 chicks in there, but you don't know what to do. I'm like, well, I best kind of put it back, but just to show the kids, and took a photo. But I've never ever seen that before, and I thought, well, a cat's gonna get it, but it didn't because it was such a dense bush, you couldn't get in. But I've never seen that before. Like,
I mean, we still do. We've got a big hedge in the front garden, and there was little spuggies nesting in it, garden sparrows, and you could see it took us ages to find the nest because it was that thick, but you could hear the chicks, you could hear them in there. So we just kept an eye on it all the time, and them went. But it was I like showing the kids. I like saying to them, "Come here, look at this, look what's in the garden," and them were amazed by it, because I sort of want to get my kids into the birds, but they're not bothered at the minute. So I was like, oh, there's a nest, come and have a look, and we'll watch them grow, and you can watch them leave the nest.
But they go out and about, I've seen loads, because you're a great Instagram follower as well, John, because you're doing all of this stuff. It's almost like, I'm like, is John a chef? Because he's cooking food in the middle of nowhere, and he's got his lads in, and then I'm just saying a wet spaniel next to you and all, your new dog all the time.
I got a spaniel?
I've got a Springer Spaniel, called him Bruno.
Oh, lovely.
After the proper Bruno.
I've got a proper spaniel.
They're class, aren't they?
But, man, it's
named after a footballer, is it?
But he's quality. But when people say, "Oh, you can't tear a spaniel out," you can, like, because when he's been to work with me all day, he's absolutely knackered.
But he's running down hills, he's jumping in the water, but he's expelling all the energy, though. And all you're doing is walking. So are you flying a bird? What's he like with birds? Because I've seen you with you had a baby owl, and he was like sniffing at this baby owl on the carpet. It was such a nice picture.
He's no problem with the birds, but he's got that much energy. If they're like sitting, he spook them a bit, just because you've got to approach him slowly, where he just kind of like booling and sort of thing.
My spaniel ignores. He just doesn't mind birds at all. Squirrels. Sees a squirrel, he's gone.
He's chasing down.
Goes native completely.
His recall's brilliant. If we're in the woods, because part of the woods that we use, it used to be private, and there's not any footpaths, so I could let him off the lead and let him have a good run around. And the only one time he's ever went is those two of the deers there. And he's just a prey drive took over and he went after them. He wouldn't have known what to do if he had to get anywhere near them. And I'm just sitting, I had my wife driving around, my brother-in-law driving around looking for him. And I thought I'd just stay in the woods because he's going to come back. The deers will get away from him. He hasn't got that sort of he hasn't been trained or brought up to sort of want to kill anything. He's more of a flusher. He'll just point and flush. So I thought, once the deers get away, he'll come back, and then all of a sudden, about 45 minutes later, I seen 2 ducks just coming up the stream, going crazy. I thought, this is him on his way back. And he's just sitting there soaking wet, absolutely knackered, and his little tail just wagging away.
So I don't know if this is like urban myth, right? But my spaniel, it's not a working spaniel, right? But he does this thing when he's sitting, getting ready to always lift his paw up. And somebody set me out because he wants to hunt. Is that what
it's
they
his
do?
Little points. There's something in there. There's food
paw
there.
hang like that,
So I work with him, and he's good for the kids as well. He's good for the lads that we're getting. Some of them, they're not bothered about the birds. They just want to sit and have a cuddle with a dog, and that's them sorted.
But that's it. It's that connection with the animals as well. Because a lot of kids, you get a pet and it's like a mate, isn't it? Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, your dog must be the same with your kids as well, are they?
He's dead protective of them.
Is he?
We're sitting fun fighting. He's just like, he's trying to get me off them.
Right.
He's my dog. I'm the master sort of thing. I'm the alpha. I've sort of brung him up as I'd realised that dogs are pack animals. I've had dogs all my life as well. The pack animals, you've got to have that pack mentality there. So he knows exactly where he is in our family pack. But if I'm fun fighting with the kids, he loves joining in. And he always takes a kid's side. Until there's food there, and then he's back on my side sort of thing.
Straight away.
I was wanting to ask you as well, because I know you're on Robson Green show next year.
It's the Weekend Escapes, I think it is.
All right, okay.
That was mental. It was brilliant day.
That just came out of the blue, did it? As well?
I just got an email. It was a phone call off one of the producers saying, "Is there any chance we can come and do a bit of work?" And I was like, "Of course, Robson Green, definitely."
Might have seen the 15 films I've made of you, John.
But I mean, we've even called my son, my middle son's called Robson. When my wife's saying, it's after Robson Green, and I'm like, no, it's after Bobby Robson. But I thought,
well, for today's purposes,
for today's Robson Green. But it was Northumberland, so they couldn't. I'm classed as Newcastle, and they couldn't do it there. They couldn't do it at my bit, so we had to go up to Budle Bay, up to Budle Hall. And it was perfect, because when we got up there, it was red hot. Like it was a good summer's day. And I thought, you know what, it's going to be too hot for the bird.
I was going to say, is that good for flying or not?
No, it was. And I'm sitting thinking, she's not going to perform here. She's just going to go and sit in the shade, in the tree. We're not going to get any flying. And then it was Robson, his brother and his 2 sisters. And the 4 of them were brilliant. Like, really nice to be around.
Yeah.
Made you feel dead at ease. And like, we're saying, have you ever done anything like this? And I went bits and pieces, like, but they were that nice of people. They were lovely.
Yeah. Not telling you met the real Billy Casper.
I did. We got on about that, because he had says it. He went, "So have you seen Kes?" And I went, once or twice. And I started telling him, and he was like, "Oh, that's brilliant." And I says, "Oh, we're still keeping in touch now. Like, we're still."
David Bradley, isn't it?
And like, we went out for a dinner. I think it was last year. Went up to Hexham for the day for a dinner. You know, I was saying, like, it's weird because I've got the Kes tattoo on my ribs.
Yeah.
I love that. And I've got I'll get emails off him, I get text messages off him saying, "We're passing through and I've got a new girlfriend, do you want to come and meet her and stuff like that?" I'm like, this is crazy, this.
It's mad, isn't it, John? I mean, it's just, I go back and go, how do we go from that? Because for me, your story's like the real life Billy Casper, do you know what I mean? When you were saying how you came up loving Falconer and stuff like that. And then we ended up like, I don't know, getting, should we bring David Bradley up, the real life Billy Casper from Kes? And then John's going out with him and he's texting him.
it's mental. He'll text us and go, how's Catherine and the boys doing and what they're up to and how's the football going for them? And
that's great.
It's weird. And then he's always, every time he comes up, he's bringing stuff up. Like, he's bringing his wood carvings up and sending posters up and stuff like that. He's just a lovely bloke.
Yeah. It's just great from that one little experience. Now it's a relationship. But as a kid, you'd never think like,
it's
the real Billy Casper from Kes, you'd be kind of a
but he's because you said he can talk a lot. But his emails or his texts are the same. It's paragraph after paragraph.
The same as what he talks.
So like if I'm at work and my phone will kind of, that's David. But I'll read that later on. Where, you should be I'm going to have to print that out and frame it sort of thing. Be like, I'm going to have to just read that when I've got 10 minutes. Well,
that's the thing, because in your place, you've got like Kes posters up down at...
that's what he sent up. But like he likes the schools because he said they sell like that. A lot of the lads that I'm working with are they're basically Billy Caspers, not very good in school.
Yeah.
They don't like it. They want to be out.
Aye.
They're better outside, and they've got the bird as the little release there.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, dear, it's like watching Billy Caspers running around.
But it is. But that's all. That's what it's about. But you're doing all of this for like other kids, and you've had some good success stories as well. A couple of lads end up getting jobs, and then
I've had apprentices on. Just when they started around about, they've come down about 15. Lily's the last one.
Yeah.
I mean, Lily wasn't there on a school placement. She just come down and asked to volunteer.
parents dropped her off, didn't they?
I will laugh at it. No, our parents brung her in with this little like 14, 15-year-old lass and went, "Can she volunteer?" And I'm like, I don't really take volunteers on, to be fair, because the type of work I'm doing it's not suitable.
Yeah.
But then this little lass there with long hair sitting looking gutted, and I'm like, I can't see it now.
Oh, did she really want to do it as well?
Aye.
And
it turned out she
just had no confidence.
it turned out she was brilliant. So like really good.
Yeah.
So I mean, she's moved up to Scotland now. She's at a place called Elite Falconer, and that's working with eagles and stuff.
But she's still doing it.
Aye, and she's I used to like laugh around and Lily, like, look at the bin. And the bin would be overcrowded. And I can get a bin bag, Lily. And she'd pass me the bin bag. And I'm like, no, the bin bag's for you. That's your rubbish. Empty it. And then when she says, I'm moving to Scotland, I'm thinking, that's a massive jump for her. But she's done it. She's went up there by herself. She's passed that test. She's living by herself in a different country. Like, she's doing that well up there. She's brilliant. So that's nice to see.
Yeah.
Like,
well, the transformation I saw in her in 6 months, because I filmed her over 6 months for the film Lily, and I was just fascinated because she had long hair with this hat on, and she was like rolled shoulders forward, like a confidence. In 6 months' time, she had a haircut, but that's because the birds kept pecking her hair. I was getting they kept pulling her hair all the time, and it was what's that Kessel called? Sid,
Sid.
So Sid with that Kessel. So I filmed that kind of.
I had a parrot called Sid.
Yeah, it's a cracking name, isn't it? It's a proper bird name. But
I was off Sid Vicious.
Is it?
Because she was looking for a bird.
Fun, I know.
And she was ready to take the step. She'd been with me for that many years, and she was ready for a bird. And I was like, you're definitely ready for it. And a lad that I knew from Gateshead, he was selling like this tri-bred falcon. And I thought, that's pretty perfect. And it was a stunning little falcon. I thought, that's just the right size for her. So I rang him up. I think we went half-as on it. I think we went half-as, but it was a perfect bird for her. And I mean, she's obsessed with him now. Flies him all the time. She just had to put him away for a bit because I think he's chipped a talon or something like that.
Did you take Sid with him?
He's up there, aye.
Yes. Lily and Sid road trip.
Aye. She's up there now. She's texting us.
Oh, fantastic.
She likes to have a little bit swear on every now and then, and I'm like, don't let your mum see that text message, mate. Now she's frustrated. Yeah. Because her mum doesn't like her swearing or anything like that.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Lily, you got to come on the podcast, Lily. We've got to have you, man. I tell you, we've got to have Lily on.
She's
I'm pleased she's doing really well. Yeah. Because I thought she's going to go in the Navy or something like that. She was talking about going
I think she wanted to go in the RF for a bit. But I think she needed a bit of time away from falconry to realise, you know what, that's what I want to do. That's the way I want to go. And that's probably... It's not probably the only way she can go, but it's the natural way for her to go. Yeah. I think that's something she's going to do for the rest of her life in some point, at some like capacity.
Yeah. Our knowledge was phenomenal, John, because obviously I went out and I spent loads of time with her, but she would, I filmed her catching her first kill, which is fantastic, and she did it with a ball bearing and a catapult. Yeah. And what she caught goes to feed Sid, so it was all this whole organic stuff, the whole kind of from where sustainability and all that kind of thing. And then I sat and watched her dissect a pigeon on the step, and I filmed her doing that. But it was almost like you didn't know it was a pigeon. It could have been a cooking show, and she's talking about something else because of the passion she had. Well, you want to do this, and you want to open it up like that, and that inside. That's the thing. And she was like talking through it as if it's sort of.
Because I used to take her out to do a lot of the bushcraft. And I'm a big believer, and I try to get it onto her. It was already in her that the bird, it's got to be natural. And we can go to a pet shop and buy a bag of like mass-produced battery farm chickens sort of thing, cockerels. I just think it's better to get out there and hunt and for the birds, you're part of the hunt. In that food that you just caught is going back to feed the bird. It's got to be better than buying it from a shop or a factory.
Well, she said that,
More
mate.
so than ever at the minute, though.
Of course.
And she's done that. I mean, we've been skinning rabbits and gutting rabbits and all sorts, and she knows where it's going. She knows the process. And
that disconnect though now couldn't be bigger, could it? When you think about it with schools and everything, and how far away people are from their food source, and whether they've sanitised it and they just don't like to think about it, or it's just not in the education system, is it? So,
but our messaging was quite clear that she's trying to do the right thing, but it's for Sid. And this is the way you should do it as well. And I mean, even catching it with a ball bearing and a catapult, I was well impressed.
But it's a society thing at the minute with the hunting, because whenever I get people in, I talk quite a bit about the hunting side of it. And like I was saying before, it's not a bloodlust. I'm doing it for a purpose. But I still, even the other week, I got called a murderer.
Really? Is that on social media, John?
I've got a private inbox calling as a murderer. And I'm like, I'm not eating it, the bird's eating it.
Yeah.
The bird's catching it. When I'm out hunting, I'm just a perch. The bird's just using me as a perch. And what goes in the tin of dog food? She's got dogs. What goes in your tin of dog food?
Yeah.
So, that's what's in your tin of dog food there. God knows where that meat's come from. I've got a pretty good feeling that animal hasn't had the best of lives. Where that rabbit it's as free range as you can possibly get. The farmers don't get what on as well for no reason. The farmers don't run for a reason. So the rabbits do a lot of damage. Plus they're non-native. A lot of people don't realise rabbits aren't native, but they do massive amounts of damage on farms.
But that message never gets out, though, does it? About proper what land management is or what gamekeeping actually is.
Yeah,
it's not just a bunch like wealthy folk going shooting. No. It's about preserving land and ecosystems.
Yeah, because saving the accidents that happen from days running on, and the higher people come and shoot the day.
See, one of the farms that we've been on, they've got a lot of horses and livestock, like cows and sheep. So if that rabbit's digging a big deep hole in the middle of the field and the horse puts its leg down and breaks its leg, it's pretty much game over for that horse because of the rabbit hole. I think if you say to a lot of people, what would you rather have, the rabbits or that horse having a nice life, they'll always pick the horse. But then when we're stopping that from happening, you do get a bit of kickback from it.
Aye.
I've got a burning question.
I mean, we could talk about this all day as well.
What does John have for Christmas dinner?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about birds and I'm thinking about seasonality, and I was like,
bird,
the lasses, I've got a bakery next door to us, and she's just come in here that day and she went, have a taste of this. It was game pie. It was unreal. There was like, as soon as I got a smell of it, like my mouth started watering, and I'm like, that's absolutely lush. That. So I did think about game pie for Christmas, but my wife's just not into that. She just
go for a game pie at Christmas.
Oh, it was lovely. And I just thought that'll be a nice change. And we've got a dad, my father-in-law, he's coming down. He would have liked it. But like my wife's one of these, like, it's just chicken. Like,
right. Okay. Yeah. Well, we were talking about this before, and I'm like, I need two mates, and for me, lamb's king of mates. You know what I mean? I've got to go lamb all the time.
I like lamb.
We've got turkey, but it's always got to be wrapped and baked with stuffing inside. I'm like, but it's like
you barely
the skin. Oh, well, we're trying to do all of that, but you know what I mean? Well, it's all about the flavours, isn't it, John? You know what I mean?
I've got the rosemary on and everything, mate. Yeah, for the full.
But have you always loved that kind of stuff? You're cooking food in the woods. Has it always been in there? Or is it just necessity?
No,
I'm hungry. Why not? I just cook in the woods while I'm there.
Do you know? It's I was trying to think about this the other day, and when we were kids and we're camping out, because we used to camp out in the Dean in that field all the time. And you would just have a little campfire and you would cook sausages and burgers on it. And that was just part of camping out.
That's summer holidays, wasn't it? What are you doing? I'm camping out this week.
Me and my mates would just camp out and cook. And but I remember we always said, definitely tastes nicer outside. And then it's being...
But you taste better on holiday.
It was being in the woods, and then I was thinking, do you know what, we'll make a rock pizza. Make an oven out of rocks. And
how'd you do that, John? How do you kind of make that?
You've got to get the stone that's not wet, because it explodes.
What, stone explodes?
If it's got water in it, because a lot of it, if it's like sandstone, there's a lot of space in there for water, and then the heat turns it to vapour, and then it'll explode.
Have you had one blow up on you?
A few times.
When you say explode, do you mean like full on?
No, it just pops.
Just pop.
It just pops.
But then it just crumbles down, and then
it just breaks into your food.
You rock on my pizza.
But then it sort of went, do you know, we don't have to just be cooking burgers or hot dogs. we've got all the stoves there. Like we'll get logs and we'll make the Swedish torch stoves. So there's loads of different styles of cooking. Like the Dakota fire pit, I like cooking on them. It's like a stealth fire sort of thing. It's in the ground, but it's a rocket stove because it's sucking the oxygen through another hole sort of thing. And then you like, it doesn't just have to be a burger and a bun.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more prep and there's a little bit more carrying, but you can cook some nice stuff outside. And I was like, I want to start and have a mess around here.
I mean, I saw the picture of that burger, mind. You had like 4 different things on that thing. What was on it?
Oh, we put all sorts in. Put steak in, burgers, eggs, onions, everything. But it's literally just cooking it on a fire.
Yeah.
It could be horrible, but it's just you're sitting next to a stream in the woods and just everything tastes nice, I think.
Yeah, it does. You remember a bonfire night when you were a kid? You just chuck potatoes in a fire. You didn't even wrap them up in tin foil. Just chuck them in, came out. Rock solid.
I mean, the crispy potato skin's got to be one of the best things in the world.
Right, it's got to have plenty of salt and butter.
The best one I had, Rosie O'Grady's in New York. It came, the steak was on its own, 10-inch sirloin. And then medium, and then medium, and then it had a jacket potato the size of your head, right, wrapped in foil, crispy skin, just chopped in a quarter, and then just butter, just caked in there. That was it. That was the meal. The steak and the potato, and that's why I'm telling you now. That was nice 25 years ago. I ate that, and I still remember it now.
Yeah,
you know? Just beautiful thing, isn't
it? You just get that little burn off it as well.
Yeah,
simple
it's
stuff,
that carcinogenic stuff. You know, you're fighting. It's like when I was talking the other week about the burnt top buns.
Yeah,
it's that, you know, that flavour. It's just
that puts a chart in everything. Do you know what I mean? Everything on a grill, everything on a fire tastes better.
I think it does, definitely.
Yeah,
like even some of the stuff as well. Do you know, like you get teenagers and all of one eats like pot noodles, the easiest stuff. They sort of haven't got the taste yet for nice food.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff I'm thinking, right, we're gonna do like a surf and turf. And now they're not like this, but I'm gonna see if they'll try it because they don't like prawns.
Fish has got like breadcrumbs on, John.
And they sort of after they'll give it a try and go, no, I didn't like that, but I'm like, that's all right, lads. I'll just have this to myself.
What do you want us to try though?
That's it. Just
like,
try
that's
it.
The first step.
Yeah. I mean, we've done one of the ones we're going to do rabbit after the holidays. The hawk court or ferret court rabbit. But they've tried wood pigeon. I do quite a bit of fishing as well, so they eat the fish, they eat the trout that we catch.
Yeah.
And as long as they're trying it.
I know.
And like wood pigeon's the best one for them. Because they're sitting looking going, why would I want to eat that? I mean, I'll have a taste of this. Like the breast part of like
wood pigeon is delicious.
Absolutely lovely.
It is.
So what's your favourites and what's your go-tos?
Court stuff or like
just any like out in the woods, what's your favourite, what's your go-to?
Steak. No, just find different ways to cook steak. The last one that we've done on a Swedish fire log, the torch, and that was just like steak chopped up, eggs, and then like peppers and onions and stuff, and we just had it in there, a bit of bread, and we just sat and absolutely hammered it.
I mean, is that because I know we're going to come out with you, John, and film a little bit out in the woods with you, with Chris. So I think that might be the one. I think that might be. You must. I think let's go John's field on that one.
Drag a fridge with us.
Because I know you dig a hole, you're building a fire, so you sit because you sent us like messages of like 3 or 4 different things. Do you want this? I'm like, you just built a pizza oven, and then there's a hole in the ground with a fire above it, and then you got this like kind of is that the Norwegian spit that you showed us? That's what I think, right?
We've just built I want to build another one, but we've just built an oven. We've been cooking roast chicken, just getting a fire going and cooking a roast chicken on it, and it's lovely.
Yeah. I have to do a bit of lamb for you, man.
I've tried lamb.
It's got to be slow, like on it, John. It's got to be slow on it. Lamb chops get a bit tough, so I'll do the steak all day long though.
Homemade chips. They're nice as well outside.
Yeah.
On a fire. I've got a Dutch oven cooking pot. You just get the fire going, get the oil nice and hot, and get your chips in, and they're lovely, really nice.
So what you drinking when you're up there? Hey, we're going to start this one. Are you having a cup of tea or what? What's happening?
I normally take the Kelly kettle and get a cup of coffee.
Kelly kettle?
It's a rocket stove, and you put a fire in it, and it's sort of like a flask.
Yeah.
And
does it look like a milk churn? It looks kind of reminds me of a milk churn.
It's a big piece of kit, but just cooks nice. It boils nice. You can cook on top of it. So I do like them.
Aye.
So
Let John pick a question. I'm intrigued to see what you want to go
John,
for.
we've got our menu of questions, so we've definitely got to have you answer that one. But if you can go for anything on there, just take your pick. John.
Anything on there?
Yeah, anything.
On there.
Starters, meals, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Last meal.
All right.
Pick a last meal.
Well, you know what this is. I mean, we're going to go death roll meal, but we'll call it last meal instead. Sounds a bit better than death roll meal. But we all know what that meal is. Your last meal, what you're going for. But there's a caveat to this, so I'm going to let you do the first one. You can only have 2 courses.
Caveat. Right, okay.
Because everyone goes, now 3. When you bring it down to 2, now you got to put your thinking cap on, do you know what I mean? So you're either dessert or you're a mains guy, you know. What you have? Last meal. 2 courses.
I would probably, it's got to be steak.
Steak.
I love a steak.
But where you cooking this, John? Are you in the woods? Are you?
Be in the woods.
Yeah.
Aye.
I think for me, it's about where you are as well.
Oh, no, I'll change that. Full English breakfast.
Full
really?
English.
Aye. What you having on your full English?
Sausage, eggs, black pudding,
Black pudding,
bacon, maybe a little hash brown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beans.
Beans. I'll probably have. I normally can for the tomatoes.
There's too many wet. It's kind of that, isn't it? I like a grilled tomato.
I try and keep the tomato quite hard.
I would
grilled.
do the fried tomato and beans. 10 tomatoes, you just get juice all over the place.
You do, right?
You do.
No, you're right. Aye, because that used to be a thing, and you used to like just a pool of red.
I love how quick you pivoted there, like from steak to full English.
But I would have a Greg Stotty with it as well.
Greg Stotty.
I've never heard that because it's usually toast, isn't it? With that, but Greg Stotty,
toasted, toasted or
no, just normal, just by itself.
And there must be a reason for this, John. And I think I know. Are you making your own sound out of that full English?
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It comes like that. But when you've got that bread on the side, you go, actually, if I put a bit of bacon in, if I put an egg in, then you just make mini sandwiches.
And you press one bit on the plate to mop up all the juice and all that.
Well, and then you have your little leftover
moisture.
And then just lie back in the hammock. That's it done.
Lie back in the. So you're outside eating this thing, yeah?
I'll probably be cooking it on one of the rocks. You get the rock nice and hot, put a bit of oil on it, then you can fry it. You can fry everything on there.
I mean,
it's fancy bit of black pudding now, actually. No, you mentioned it.
I'm a huge fan of black pudding. The farm shop near mine, Home Hill, they do their own black pudding. It's the best ever, and I've told people about it, and they'll drive from Newcastle.
Contentious idea, though, right? So, social club tradition, right? When I grown up, you go to a social club. Black pudding was always raw, wasn't it? On a cocktail. That's how I still love it.
Raw black pudding.
Really?
Man.
Little cubes of it on the bar.
Yeah. Honestly, and even now I still just tickle it I put it in the pan.
I don't like frying it too much. I just cook it a little bit.
I like mine grilled. It's that charred, crisp texture, and then when you break it open, you've still got that softness inside.
I like mine just a couple of seconds in the pan, and that's it.
Okay, all right. It's like, I've never known a medium.
Because we'd have cheese and pickles next to it, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Or tripe.
Or a big tray of random roast potatoes.
What's the worst thing you've ever eaten, John?
I remember my dad used to give us tripe when I was a kid.
You mentioned tripe.
It was weird. I probably wouldn't eat it now, but I used to eat then. But oysters as well.
Do you not like oysters? See, I love oysters.
No, I like them because I love seafood. I'm a massive seafood fan, but I think it's oysters. It's just the feel of them.
Yeah,
it's texture.
It was tripe for me because I tried. I used to pride myself on not having any sort of ick with food at all. I try anything. And I've worked in China and all kinds of places, right? And I've eaten duck's tongues with all the sort of bits still hanging out.
Monkey brains on my tail. Right. Am I going down?
But I had 2 experiences. Tripe. I mean, I tried tripe. We went to Paris when my partner was pregnant with my first child. And went to this little restaurant. I tripe sausages, and I was like, right, if I'm ever going to like tripe, I like getting a sausage.
Should be alright like that.
Yeah, I cut it, and it was like a body bag.
Oh,
like,
was it?
bits like flopping out the side, and I've
Eyeball
never
rolls out.
honestly. I pushed the plate. I was like, I can't eat that. Like, and the only time I
that's
liked
gonna
it,
be
I
the
was in,
worst.
I think I was in Malaga or something, in a little tapas bar. Come swimming, and like I love it. It had been cooked for hours and hours and
My
hours.
dad used to get it from the Granger market and chop it up into little bits and then put salt and vinegar and pepper all over it.
Yeah, that's what my granddad used to do.
I did eat it, but I've seen it now in shops and I look and go, no, no. Especially the
Still see it in the
honeycomb.
Granger market now.
They've still got it there.
Milk, boiling it with milk and onions and that.
I mean, why? There's other things to eat. Though,
There's
John,
got to
you know
be
what I
better
mean?
things
But
to
it was
eat.
like a big deal in the North East.
Yeah, it was massive.
Generations.
So where you getting all your food from? Are you catching it? Are you kind of killing it? What you doing?
Like the game stuff, like the rabbit and pigeon, in the fish, just catch them ourselves.
Yeah.
When we're out, I don't like if we're fishing, I like catch and release. I might take one back, to cook, and if we get a rabbit, I don't like wasting. I don't see the point in, and I've seen loads of lads do it. They'll catch 20, 30 rabbits and then just hide them away.
But
Like,
there's not a difference
Well,
between
isn't
like the
a
bad
point?
press
Yeah.
hunting and people that hunt to eat.
Aye.
That's the thing. It is. It's the one thing. Everything should have a purpose at the end of it. You know.
Like when me and Scott, me mate, when we go out, we're happy if we just got, if the hawks have caught one rabbit each or the ferrets have got one, because that's all we need.
Yeah.
You don't want to, I've seen lads catch 30, 40 and pull up next to mine saying, do you want any rabbits? Because I've got any room in the freezer. Why are you catching them all? So what you're going to do, just dump them somewhere and foxes will have them. It's a bit of a waste.
It is a waste.
I know. Right. Let's get you Greg's order in then. What you having when you walk in? What you having?
From Greg's.
Aye. Could be now. Could be back in the day. Whatever.
Do you like a steak bake?
Yeah.
Yeah. I always pick the packet of 2 stotties up as well.
It's just, I do that like a sort of habitual thing in my head, like, because you could always come in useful if you've got a pack of stotties in the house.
While I'm in there. Yeah.
It's a treat. Like I'll walk out and I'll say to my wife, like, got some, I've tried with some stotties today.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a full English in them stotties. And that's
John, we had somebody on here talking about putting like pasties and that inside their stotty. Inside of it.
It was a bread bun. It was Neil from Pinkley and Bakery, right? A baker, right? And he told us at Greg's all the way. We were astounded. Like, he used to buy a bread bun and a cheese pasty, right? Used to be a granary bun because he thought it was a little bit healthy.
Just to dial it up a bit.
just to push it up a bit.
Just to push it up a bit, right? But he would butter it so it would, like the butter would melt with the cheese pasty. But hang on, he put cheese crisps on it as well.
Oh, I'm not sure about the cheese crisps. I'm not a massive fan. I like loads of cheese on everything.
I think, for that thing, that's got to be a texture thing. But
do you know what's going to cross my mind over the Christmas holidays? You know, that I'm going to end up trying to make that.
Well, I think I'm sure somebody out there might do it. You know, it might be a thing. But we're talking about crisps. We've got it on the list, and we were chatting about cheddar crisps earlier on.
Class.
Form of
Remember cheddar crisps?
Yeah.
Because they always had that flavour, that intense flavour. And we're talking flavours like tomato sauce, Worcester sauce, prawn cocktail, pickled onion.
You got to remember, cheddar were big flavour crisps, weren't they?
Aye.
So you didn't have like Monster Munch and all that, and all these different things going on.
I still remember that advert when you had to go up the Dunstan Rocket.
Gives a bag of cheddar every week.
A canny pack of cheddar.
Yeah.
Aye.
But it's weird because just the other day I was on Facebook and I come up with an advert. It was like a post about the tomato flavoured cheddar crisps. I says to my cousin, I went, remember them? They're old school, them, aren't they? He was like, oh, they're the best crisps ever.
Aye.
It's my fondest memory, right? When I was 19, I was a naughty kid at school, right? So I didn't go to college. So I left school. I did it wasn't with VSO, but I went to Africa. I had to fundraise loads of money. Went to Tanzania, sort my head out and all that. And my biggest achievement, right, was getting a big group of school kids, right, in East Africa, shouting, "Canny bag of cheddar." I think I might have it on a cassette actually somewhere.
Did he record it this time? Yeah. It's a shame he didn't have having phones back then, because that would have been a good one.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
It's because nobody would believe that happened.
Good advertising.
That's perfect advertising. So what was your crisp choice back then? Or are you crisp man now?
I like my crisps. Hot and spicy Monster Munch.
I'll tell you what, I've got a thing on here. Top three crisps. Go on.
Top 3 crisps. hot and spicy Monster Munch.
I love the massive ones as well. Like.
The Monster Munch changed over the years because it used to be like...
Well, you get mega ones now as well,
harder,
can't you?
Like,
No, the best ones, it was lamb and mint.
Was the
flavoured
McCoys?
Brannigans.
Oh, Brannigans.
And it was like in a papery bag, and they were dead thick crisps.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was a lamb and mint one, and then you had the
They did beef and
beef and
horseradish, didn't they?
horseradish or something.
And gammon and pickle.
I'll
remember
probably...
the McCoy's chili.
Oh, they were
McCoy's chili
the Brannigans were the, like...
They were...
Them with the
there.
flavour and the crunch, you know what I mean? And then they brought out kettle chips to posh that right up, do you know what I mean?
I can remember them.
Remind us, John. I've got a lovely bag of crisps for you in the cupboard there.
Lovely.
I have, honestly.
Well, so your top three, so you go on spicy Monster Munch?
Hot... I'll go with Brannigans, lamb and mint.
Yeah.
Number one.
All right. Them were the best crisps I've ever had.
Yeah.
That's with a pint.
Oh. The pork scratchings gone in there. Can I add pork scratchings?
I'd let pork scratchings slip in. Although I just snapped my tooth with one a couple of weeks ago.
It could be, right? Because
the dangerous crisps on
Full on snapped my tooth.
did you?
Right in half.
It's anything beyond that bar.
So I'm going to say porkies is like a lawsuit.
I would probably say number 2, scampi fries.
Scampi fries. Okay.
Always Trump bacon fries.
No, I like
because scampi fries are just something else.
Seeing that scampi knickknacks. Scampi
were nice.
Knickknacks were nice. Yeah. Aye.
But scampi fries were just like
Scampi fries.
Yeah.
I've got some in the house. We're normally going to like B&M or something like that, and they sell a multi-packs of them there.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was stocked up on them.
Fishman used to sell them in the clubs.
Aye.
You go to the social club and the Fishman would come in on a Friday night.
Is it related?
Is that a thing? Do you remember that?
Aye. They've stopped doing it now, but we used to spend a fortune on them.
Crab sticks and that.
Aye, 10 o'clock at night.
That was Friday night, wasn't it?
Did he
Friday
white
nights.
coat and that? Is that on?
Yeah. I mean, he could have just been wearing that and got out with his coat time or something.
Costume.
Yeah.
Just for this weekend job.
You would always get
just in the boat.
every time you come in, you would always get somebody going, hey, got any mussels? I've got mussels. Why not carrying 2 baskets then? And he just like used to laugh and go, no, I've never heard that one. Like that was every single Friday night. It was always the same bloke.
You must have getting rinsed if you're the fishman going in there on a Friday night, but they used to clear up.
You used to have them like the little white trays, the polystyrene trays.
Polystyrene trays. I mean, we've had them knocking at the door before. Do you know what I mean? Want your fish? I'm like, no.
Stop going in.
Yeah.
I've never seen them for years.
Yeah.
That's the same as a nuff course. You didn't get them anymore.
No. Kick as a man.
Yeah. Have you got a size 10? Right. It was always that one there. So
you know that I've got a gift for John. I want to give him. I can't forget this. Right, because it dawned on me this morning, the nature of our conversation.
Yeah.
Right, and I thought, so we'll give a couple of guests food gifts, but I'll give you a bag of crisps right before you go.
Lovely.
I think the ham and pickle from a Northumberland producer.
That would be nice ones.
Yeah, they're nice them.
So I'll give you a bag of them.
Nice one.
Right, I have to show you this first. Right, how old are you? Can I ask you that?
42.
All right, okay. So I'm 46.
Oh, sweet.
So you would have been 14, right? I would have been 18. But I want to give you this as a gift. Look at that. I even remember the scorers. I think it was a Wednesday. It was a Wednesday. Would it have been a Wednesday night kickoff?
Is this when John melts?
Oh, honestly.
Hang on.
You see, it's even got a stamp as a guest ticket. I used to work.
You might go into flames there, like John.
Look at that, John.
Hey.
1996. And you like it even better because you won. And I don't know if you'll remember the match.
No, I can't remember much about that match.
So I'm sure we scored the opening goal, penalty, right? Martin Scott, our left back.
Aye.
And then if I'm right, it was Peter Beardsley and Les Ferdinand.
Them would have been
at Roker Park, because that was in the Fulwell end.
It's a bit of it's mixed. It's a bit of history.
That's yours now, mate.
Thank you. I'm not sure how many kids are going to take it.
Oh, it's a gift.
You've got to take it away.
I'll show this to the camera, John, so we can see it. That one there.
Sunderland versus Newcastle, Roker Park, 1996.
It looks like it's been in your sweaty pocket, though.
Class, thanks.
Like
the guest ticket was, right, because I used to work, right? The best part-time job I ever had. They used to do like a raffle at half-time. They do it at most football clubs, I think, like a half-time raffle.
I like the lottery sort of thing.
I was my dabbling at college. I went to art college for a year, and this girl worked at the she worked next to Roker Park doing the match day lottery. And she was like, "Do you want a part-time job?" So I turn up, right, 2 hours before kick-off, with a little pouch and that. where my marketing came from, maybe. Little pouch. And I had to sell tickets to the lottery. I got 10% commission, and I got a free ticket for every match. I had to finish 5 minutes before the match. I'd run across the road, hand your pouch in, and cash up dead quick. Give you 20 quid, pie, bovril,
sorted that
back in.
What
It was cracking.
What you eating at the match, John? Are you eating at the match or not?
No, I can't eat and drink at the same time.
You can't eat and drink at the same time.
Rather,
That's an interesting. I like that.
I'd rather quickly get down to the bar and have a quick pint at half time than get something to eat.
So you'd rather have the pint?
Yeah, I'd rather have match dates, pint days.
Pint days. Yeah.
Too much stress going on.
Get a kebab later on when I get back in.
So yeah. I was going to say something else because there's a book behind it called Coal Town by Mick Critchlow. He died a few years ago, but I was flicking through it and he's photographed Ashington for like 40 years. Do you know what I mean? All the pit villages. I was flicking through it yesterday, right? There was a shot at half time, right? In the changing rooms, there's a guy sitting there at half time. And he has one of them like white porcelain mugs with a tea in it. Half-time cup of tea. All right. Half-time cup of tea.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Just sitting there, massive like Beaufort haircut. You know, that was like 1983 or something.
The two mates have got the best one. Like at half-time, they'll go and get a cup of tea, tip the tea out, and then they put the pint into the cups.
Right.
So the stewards didn't stop them because you can take your pint into your seats with them, just sit there through the second half having the pint.
Right.
So that's their little trick, like. I haven't tried it yet, though.
That's a tip.
Fantastic.
Tip your mug.
That's it, yeah. Just tea, man. It's all right, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Well, thank you very much, John. This has been a pleasure. I mean, shout out to anything, followers, Instagram, what do you want to, anything to say, anything to plug?
Just my YouTube channel at the minute. I'm trying to push that a little bit.
All right.
How can we find that, John?
It's Riverside Outdoors.
Yeah.
And that's just sort of a mix of like the hunting, bushcraft, cooking.
So it's got all the things
it's got everything. Everything that we do. And then there's bits about allotment because we just took an allotment on. Because we want to start growing our own food.
Okay.
Like
That's another episode.
Good.
It's
just added another little sprinkle.
It's massive.
The
offered with my landlord's offered with ages ago, and we're just getting round to getting started. But it's like a community garden, so we're not putting gates on it. We've got the shed there, polytunnels, and we're putting nature pond in and stuff like that. And it's class. We love it. We've got a little bushcraft area where we just get a campfire going, and that's where we've been cooking a lot of our food at the minute.
And the kids do that as well.
Yeah, it's the kids have like give them a shovel, and that's them happy. They're just digging away. Like we just say these are like moles. As soon as we get on the allotment, that's them just digging.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's
that Riverside Outdoors.
Riverside Outdoors.
We'll have to film that when we come down there, John. That would be good to see.
It's good.
Looking forward to that. Eating in the woods, man. Eating in the woods.
It's gonna be can't wait.
What is one of these burgers?
I'll be all again, no idea with me.
I don't know. I think we're gonna go steak.
Oh yeah,
we're going steak.
I mean, I love the look of those burgers, but I want to see you kind of concoct this little spit thing, you know.
We're going steak.
All right, nice one. Thank you very much, John.
Right, thanks a lot.
Awesome. Cheers, John. Love it.
Thanks for the ticket as well.
Do you know what it is though? I took that out this morning because I've got like a bag of all me Mac and paraphernalia, and the woman that